They're cool.
Yeah.
Welcome to the the March 28th meeting of Raleigh County Commissioners. Please join the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We just started March yesterday. That's
I know, I agreed. I thought of that last week.
Sweeney, public comments. Let's start with the commissioners.
Okay. Well, let's see. Last Thursday afternoon, I caught up on some paperwork in the office and had a meeting with my pastor at the church. Friday morning, had a meeting with a contractor at the house to get another grab bar installed in my bathroom and to go over a fireplace project. Went over job descriptions and some applications for the county appraiser position. Saturday, my lunch group went to Opie to the chicken house. It was a long drive. It's down past Emporia.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, the food was worth it. I can't say it's any better than what we have up here. But I hadn't been to that part of the state for a long time, so it was a good drive, and I'm looking forward to going back again later in the year when it's all green to the country. Sunday, I played at the bell choir for a church service and spent the afternoon exercising and organizing for this week, which included, unfortunately, some house cleaning. So. That's all I've got.
Actually pretty quiet over the last couple of days. Thursday afternoon, I did meet with Robin Poole, Executive Director for Pawnee Mental Health, and Julie Gibbs to discuss a handful of items, including some future plans for service and possible infrastructure. Really, time we really had any dialogue about any of that was well in advance of the pandemic. So it must have been like very early 2020. So it'd been a while. Probably that much needed a conversation and discussion, but we'll see where it goes. Really, it's about all I really managed to accomplish over the last couple of days. I did want to put in a plug for the NACO student art competition that's upcoming. It's the I Love My County art competition they're doing for the calendar. I think I've showed everybody when I got, that's going to be for next year. Kind of correlates and kind of runs up with National Counties Month, which will be in April. I know we still got a few days till we get to that, but I'd like to see a couple of submissions of some sort. I think we're going to work on something internally here to get some information out, maybe do a little social media or something and see what it stirs. I see all the artwork and stuff that's done at the 4-H events and stuff there at the fairs. I know we have plenty of talent. It'd be cool to see somebody from Raleigh County on one of those calendars. So, and outside of that, the weekend was pretty quiet. Spent some time watching a little basketball, catching up on some TV shows, and doing a few much needed things around the house. So.
Well, Thursday after our meeting, I attended the introductory press conference for Coach Tang. It was well attended and an impressive start for the new coach. And more's come out about him and his background, how he got where he is over the weekend. And so far, he's certainly won over the fan base. He's without being over the top, he's very connects with people real easy. He's
minister. He's a minister.
Oh, really?
That's what I heard. He's has the ability to marry people and stuff. Did that brother-in-law or sister-in-law, something. Yeah.
So, I mean, and he had his parents and his wife's parents at the meeting. So that was, just nice. And then, as I said, Monday, my son-in-law's retirement from the Army was later Thursday. There was a limited attendance, but they broadcast on Facebook Live. But it was interesting to see him. I'm used to seeing him in Informal. Seeing him in a very in his professional surroundings and how he addressed the group. You know, you're not used to seeing some. If you're not used to seeing someone, it's just different that to see him that formal and stuff. And then Friday afternoon, went over to Abilene Friday, and coming back, noticed the smoke coming up from all the fields. It was the first day without wind in a while, and a lot of people were trying to take advantage of the day. You could see a lot of places being burned. So, but now the wind's back.
Yeah, that window is probably going to be
Yeah,
pretty closed here before too
it's
long.
not- yeah, tough squeezing those in this year. And that's all I had.
Ready for business,
Sorry,
commissioners?
business, yeah.
First on my have resolution personnel action forms, Tyler Dunger, new hire, customer service representative 1, treasurer's office, Alana Sanger Parker, museum director at museum department, separation of county service effective until filled. All 3 signed, please. Commissioners have any changes to the minutes?
I do not.
See anything.
We got a motion?
I'll go ahead and make a motion that we approve the minutes from the March 24th, 2022 Raleigh County Commission meeting.
I would second that.
And moved and second to approve the minutes of the March 24th meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Of the tentative agendas with commissioners.
Very good.
Any items for next week's press conference? Remember, today we do have the intergovernmental luncheon at the Blue Mountain. They actually begin serving at 11:30, so, you know.
Well, I would make a motion to approve the minutes. Did you do that
We already
already?
did it.
Just
Oh,
did.
I'm sorry, I was. Okay.
Are there any special parking instructions for this or just use the
It's
garage?
around back.
Is it just the north side over there?
Uh-huh.
I find it hard to believe that's going to be enough parking, but we'll see.
That's what I kind of wondered because I've been in there before, but we'll see.
We're gonna add an executive session.
And I would like to ask the board to add an executive session to my administrative time.
I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion that we add an executive session to Clancy Holman's administrative services time.
I would second that.
And moved and seconded, pardon, and moved and seconded to add an executive session, Clancy Holman's time. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Commissioners, next you have Elizabeth Ford at 9 o'clock, so you have a bit of a break. Thanks, sir.
Yeah.
Last few, it seemed like the business stuff has been running up right up to 9 or.
Calm before the storm.
Well, it seems like it's like one week's crazy, really busy and the next week isn't. It's kind of.
Starting,
It's gonna get busy with
Yeah.
department head positions to fill.
and start a budget.
Budget started.
Or is it
Budget's
kind of-
really gonna start getting prolonged though, because now we can't really finish it until October, you know, so it's really stretched it out. And there's, yeah,
That part might be kind of good because then you can at least get all the components together and know where you're at when you kind of get started instead of.
have a little more of the picture.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So yeah, it's like just like our weather, change is
Changes.
constant. Like the legislature does to
I
us.
say don't get too used to it. Legislators still in session.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really like how long it prolongs it out. And it just shortens our time period that we have to get the tax roll generated from the time the budget's completed to get the tax bills out. Yeah. Had a constituent come and talk to me about the R&R last week, revenue neutral rate,
Oh,
that whole process that's causing all of this.
this year we have to send out notices to them.
We do.
had that conversation with somebody too, swears up and down it's going to be a game changer.
What, tax wise?
No, just, bringing people in and
Getting
getting,
attention.
yeah.
Well, I'm sure we'll get a lot of calls from this thing.
Oh, we'll get a lot of calls.
Yeah.
We'll be confused.
Yeah, I wonder. How come I've got this list of all these
Those
places I'm
people
paying taxes?
I
No,
think
you're-
it's such a game changer. What they realize, and this guy here, I told him, I said, but you don't realize, unfortunately, it's just very few people pay that close attention to it like you do. The ones that we hear from are vocal like you all the time, but not the general public. I mean, the commissioners, ever since I've been here, made great effort to plead to the public to come to the public budget hearings, advertise it, the budget sessions that we had for months prior to that.
I kind of every now and again just kind of watch the ones at the city because they're in the evenings and see just to see if they're attended or not. They're not. School board, same thing. It's not.
Maybe we ought to try some evening sessions during the budget. You never know. I mean,
I do just by those two examples.
Well, and we've done it as well. I mean, you can do it, that's fine. We've had them in evenings
Yeah.
before, and you have staff here in the media.
Yeah.
But no, I'm willing to do it again. We've done it before.
this is- it shows we're trying to get out to the public. I'm gonna say when people call, well, you need to watch our meetings.
Well, I mean,
Well, and the thing nowadays with having everything recorded, everyone has the opportunity to see it. And then if they want to call or email or whatever,
Yeah.
and that's probably what's going to happen.
well, want to bet on that too?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, we get correspondence, every year when this comes up. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a natural part of the equation, but
And they say, well, we're working, we can't come. So it's kind of like, you've got,
like I said, I've watched the city ones and I watched the school board ones
Yeah.
just to see if that's the case. And there is a plethora of people that show up and there never is. I just wonder how much effort you put into that to get really not much back out of it.
Well, I think a lot of people take the approach, like even the individual that I talked to, we elect people to make those decisions. So you hope, that's why you hopefully elect like-minded people as yourself. You hope to make those best decisions, but
I still think a lot of times too, most people are focused on other things.
well, they are, but still at the end of the day, you hope those elected officials and administrators are doing the best job possible. I'm totally, connected to our school district. My wife works there, but I just expect the school board and the superintendent to make those decisions. I have enough time. I'm busy enough with my own job and my own personal life that I don't have time to micromanage what they do as well. So you hope you get good people to make those decisions. And they are impacting my taxes.
Now, just one more thing. Went to one of the budget meetings with the county. Commissioners cheat on you guys. He's a cranky guy, yeah.
because you're,
Because I asked questions about stuff. What are you doing with that way?
who are you?
We actually had one.
He asked me, well, who do you work for?
I remember you told me that story.
Well,
We had one older guy a year or two ago that came, and it was during the budget. And he said, I'm just interested in seeing it. He didn't have any concerns or anything.
Yeah.
He just said, I was just interested. He was a retired guy, had the time to do it. He had no concerns.
Like I say, this guy, I ended up later. His son. I got a long time with him. One of those guys that just, he was that, no question.
yeah, well, that's,
I mean, and it wasn't even that big a deal. I don't know what
Taking the whole time.
it was.
sure, just asking
All the way
some
to my
questions.
expectations
Yeah,
about
there's nothing wrong with that.
I don't think so. I think it's probably
Who are you?
15, 20 minutes. Oh, I'm sorry. It does go 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's plenty of time. 15 usually is about the minimum.
Well, and Clancy, just so you know, there is nothing for press conference, so we could go to 9:40 if you would like. There are no items.
I didn't know if we needed to do what we were discussing on last Thursday or not.
It's
You can't really talk about that because
Well, I know, but I'm just,
it'll be, I'm thinking 15 minutes is probably enough, 20.
20 might be beneficial.
Let's do 20. Yeah, I'm missing if there's nothing on press conference. So.
Yeah. We always list it there. We keep it listed there because sometimes we get calls when we come in Monday morning, hey, add me to the press conference. So that's why we always have to allocate a little time.
Sure.
Did you let Tyler know when he come back?
Excuse me?
Did you let Tyler know for the executive session?
Oh, I will. Well, you didn't say anything to him, did you, Clancy?
I did not.
Yeah,
didn't
I'll
think
give him a
about
holler.
it. Out of practice. Sorry.
projector's really loud and there's not anything else going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. There's people out in North County interested in having this good job thing up there.
It used to, years ago. They had a meeting once up there. I was on the city commission. Budget.
Might be real interesting now with the ambulance and everything. We've got a good PIO now. Sorry, yesterday, Dylan. I usually don't go in Dylan's. But she was in there, and I also saw another lady I hadn't seen for a long time. What is this?
Store. So we're going to play center.
They're still up there. Yeah, I should go to Highland. They're really tearing, they're rearranging everything.
It's irritating trying to find some.
All these stores, they have a different,
We want to rearrange everything. all the
I know,
time.
all the time.
You can't find it.
usually doesn't do that. The funniest thing is like trying to find saltine crackers. I was
Just basic crack. Oh, yeah.
basic crackers the other day. Okay, this sign says snack crackers, so it's probably there. No. Tried. Finally got to ask somebody. Oh, it's over there by the soup. I said, well, that makes sense, I guess.
I was told by a grocery wholesaler a couple of years ago, that's no accident. It's not for any other reason other than to do exactly what you're describing.
Walking around looking.
Because they need you to go and buy those products.
Well, that's
It's
true.
never the reason given. So really, that's what's going on.
But they also,
Part of the model.
distributors pay for end caps.
Oh, yeah.
You pay extra to get that and also pay extra to put on one of
I
these
love it.
shelves instead of
Yeah.
bottom shelves.
So you can always tell who's paying most for display of their product.
Sometimes when there's something clear that I'll crawl up on a shelf and grab something. People go. They never stock them up, like if there's some soup or cans or something up there that they don't bring forward like they should.
You're gonna have to tell me the next time you go shopping. I want to come along.
And now you want to see, I usually look around and see if anybody's like crawl up.
I've done the same thing. Where the stuff you want is clear at the back of the top shelf.
Or else it's on the bottom shelf and it's all the way at the back. The pasta does that. When I go in shopping for the church, I'll crawl back, I'll get down on the floor. It's a good thing we don't have cameras in there.
I'm sure they do.
As I say, not as far as you know.
Oh, we're gonna need your
Yeah, you ever seen that YouTube channel?
An IB YouTube channel.
You flavor this, one, not bad. A little sweet, and a little spice to it.
People in Walmart, have you seen those?
Uh,
I take pictures of people in Walmart. Way to dress.
Oh, yeah.
So I take it nobody watched the Oscars last night.
I heard about it.
I did too.
I heard on the radio that
Heard it came with a real good punch this year.
Yeah, I
Just a
guess
slap.
so.
Oh, it's a slap.
Slap.
Yes, I-
You wondered what it was. You always wonder that for sure. Yeah.
I just, usually I'll watch towards the end, but I just didn't have any desire to.
It wasn't. Which one? With a lot of them, I hadn't even heard that.
I'd heard most of the movies, although I hadn't seen them, but
It was you sounded interesting. Watch when they get up.
Yeah. Just go to movies all the time.
same here.
Just don't.
I watched a lot of basketball. A
Yeah,
lot of good games.
I kind of went to sleep Friday. I did the craziest thing Saturday. I slept into like 10:30 in the morning Saturday.
Wow.
I don't think I've probably done that in, God, I don't know how long. I woke up.
5 a.m.?
Yeah. I woke up and I'm like, man, the day's shot already. I don't know. I guess I just needed it, I guess. It wasn't like I went to bed late or anything, but yeah, it was one of those things.
Obviously, there was 7.
And this morning I was kind
Yeah, I'd be thrilled.
of coming to life about 4:45. That's usually my normal pattern, but I woke up, I felt almost wrong about it. I've wasted half my day.
I just stayed up till 10:30 Saturday night. That's really late for me.
Yeah. I was talking to a buddy of mine yesterday at a birthday party for a coworker. He said, I'd had a long week. We went out Friday night. It wasn't a good mixture of things. If you're at that age, then it's not the same anymore. Well, I don't know what to think of the Royals yet. Haven't really dwindled anybody down just yet. Usually, I guess with the short spring training, it takes a little bit longer time at the end here, but on paper, they look like they've got a team that can win 85-ish, maybe. I mean, it's probably the ceiling. I don't know.
Batcats are strong one.
And they get swept by TCU.
They haven't won there in 12 years, I guess.
Yeah,
It's a long time.
TCU's got a pretty good program. All the Texas schools did. I mean, it's just kind of
South.
Yeah.
I was hopeful for this week. Right?
you know, I just wonder. I don't want to make excuses, but with COVID and everything, it hits a sport like baseball harder because got to be real specific with how and what you recruit and how you bring it in there, and got a lot of young bats, but it's just not coming together. I don't know. Kind of did the same thing last year. They kind of struggled out of the gate and then kind of put it together towards the end of the year. And
Yeah, what you learn from the tournament, basketball tournament?
Officiating sucks.
Yeah, but also it pays to cheat.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, that's how you get in the final.
Was that all Adidas school? No,
No, three of
the four. North Carolina is.
Yeah, well, no, but Villanova hasn't been, but the other three have all been, had stuff, but they never, well, so you didn't get the pants like this, drag it out. So we got somebody posted that said Oklahoma State admitted they made a mistake and couldn't go to the tournament. But you fought it and gets to go to the Final Four. And they had 3 or 4 times as many charges against them as Oklahoma State did. But
And they level it. Level 1.
yeah,
I mean, violation is a violation. I mean, I was just talking to BJ up at Little Alpine Nutrition. They've got one of the volleyball players that wants to do some kind of NIL deal or something with them.
that's been,
And at the college level, fine. But you've got juniors in high school signing $8 million deals. It's like no supervision, no representation, no nothing. That's just not going to be good. When you have family and you have friends and you're 17, 18 and haven't been taught any fiscal management whatsoever, it's not going to end well for a lot of these young athletes. It's sad.
I believe that Coach Snyder had a good interview on that topic, and I really liked what his thought was. He wasn't in favor of it, but he threw out another solution. So if you're going to allow that, then split all of that profits with all the teammates, because in any team sport, if that offensive line is not blocking for that great quarterback or that great running back, they're not going too far.
No.
And so I thought that was really good. Or any great standout basketball player, same thing. If their teammates aren't doing well, they're not doing well.
I can understand as an amateur athlete, but a few years ago, well, actually, it's probably close to 2 years ago, there was a kid playing for University of Colorado. He was a All-American punt, kick returner, third string running, or quarterback or wide receiver. I'm not for sure, but anyway, he was also an Olympic athlete. He did winter sports, and the NCAA told him basically you have to choose one. You can't be an amateur athlete and take sponsorship at that point in time and still carry an academic or athletic scholarship. And I don't know which one he actually had. I'm assuming it's probably athletic, but so he gave up playing college football to.
Speed goes that, he's getting endorsements. For
Yeah,
speed.
So if you're going to do that, you can't play college. What's that say to all of them, 15, 20 years later now, now it's all good. I don't know. You're probably right. Coach Snyder probably has the right approach on that.
I mean, he generally didn't like it overall. He said, if you're going to do it, I should send that way.
K-State has 2, 6 out of 8 from tracks, and they don't want to sell any. Go talk to somebody.
Yeah, well, there's the problem with it. That's why, because I'm working with that group, and that's like told them, I said,
It would be different if we could just take a corner that they don't use.
Yeah.
Where we need it is a big open area, and that's always right in the middle of someone's large tract of land. And if I was a homeowner, I would say, yeah, a little corner maybe, but no, in a big open part where you want to put it. And so, unfortunately, I'm not surprised.
Why does it have to be that way?
Well, yeah,
It
because
has
it
to be a flat,
has to be flat and
Oh.
open, and
yeah. Just can't have trees close to it.
Mhm.
That- trees messed up.
no one wants it close to their house.
Well, yeah.
So
Close.
they're generally not.
Oh, I thought,
Like,
oh,
for the
yeah.
plan,
Okay.
in general.
Okay.
9:15. I'm assuming Michelle's.
Are you filling in for Elizabeth?
Yes.
Go ahead and start.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm
Morning.
Michelle Reed. I'm here on behalf of Elizabeth. And we're here to request to fill the museum director position. As we know, Alana has put in her resignation, and she has agreed to stay on until the position can be filled and that person be trained. So we're here to ask for that position to be filled, to keep the museum staff going and the museum operations going.
It's been discussed. Are we looking internal and external, correct?
It's going to be posted both internally and externally, and if there's a qualified candidate internally, obviously we'll be looking at them, but it will go both internally and externally.
Well, okay.
Well, because one of the only I noticed on the description, one, it says experience, knowledge, or expertise in Riley County history. That's kind of limiting.
I think they want an emphasis on the history of Riley County. You know, Cheryl had it,
Oh, I know.
you know, her knowledge was,
Right, I know.
yeah, vast.
Not gonna find that.
Yeah,
Especially externally.
yeah.
So maybe we could kind of change the wording of that when we put that out. Who has an interest in?
Yeah, well, also think you have to take into consideration that there's an administrative and personnel responsibility incorporated into this, and you can't downplay that. So the external candidate can learn history.
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying is that probably get some candidates that aren't from Riley
Right.
County. That people that are interested, those people that are interested.
They usually adapt to pick things up pretty
Yeah.
quick.
That doesn't preclude them from hiring, from submitting their resume.
Okay, well, I think I'm not going to argue the fact that it's a needed position, so I'll go ahead and make a motion that to fill position of director creator of the Riley County Historical Museum.
I would second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve that advertising for the museum director and curator position. All in favor?
Aye.
All three sign, please.
Thank you,
you, Michelle.
Commissioners.
Thank you.
That's in the plans.
Yeah, it's okay.
Executive session, so that's what I was waiting for. Don't have to read, I guess.
It's just short meeting today. We're okay. You got backup.
Next Commissioners, 9:15. Thanks.
Is our, just thinking about these, is our schedule open enough for where we could schedule interviews kind of within the parameters of our meeting or just outside of that?
Oh, yeah.
Instead of
Yeah,
having to go-
on meeting days, for
I
sure.
should have to do that.
We'll
Yeah,
do that.
each interview usually takes about an hour approximately.
Internal, so. External, so. Good start. All qualified, you know, so that's good.
I took a picture yesterday. I can't remember who it was. Staples over here closed yesterday because they had no staff.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's who it was. Yeah, you're right. It was Dave.
Closed because they had no staff.
No staff.
Except the they didn't have an English major, right?
No.
They had several.
Grammatical and spelling issues. Yeah.
I just can't believe it. I don't understand.
Yeah, couldn't even pick up stuff and order it online then either.
Yeah, that's
No,
that's
yeah.
what they posted. He was going to pick up, be there for pick up.
Chairs for a studio or something. Yeah, that's what it was.
So some eat, do want to go in it, so that's longer than usual. I just attributed they probably were down staff.
I stopped, what was it, Wednesday night at Subway to grab a sandwich. And they didn't have flatbread. They didn't have tomatoes. And they were on their last couple scoops of tuna. I know, just odd. Looked like they had a rough day, or maybe was short staffed too. I don't know what their setup is specifically.
Short staff and supplies.
Yeah, or maybe just they had the supplies and it just wasn't prepped for use. I don't know, but I just thought, man, those are three really odd items to run out of. You know,
Renovating the house for a daughter, ordered windows that are 10 weeks out. And I talked to you, I said, so is it the supplies, is it staff? He said, yeah.
it's all
Both. He said, you know, they have a second shift, the place, the company that makes windows, but it's only hodgepodge because you can't fill it fully, you know.
Well, like delivery.
It's just a Nebraska company, you know.
Yeah.
We're having the same problems with screens apparently, and replacing some screens in that apartment complex. And
Thing is,
he said he ordered them the end of February and it might be fall.
I was complaining about my situation, the 10 weeks on the windows, that's gonna delay me on getting my daughter's house done. And I complained about that last week, 2 weeks ago. Didn't feel so bad, but one guy told me he's waiting 5 to 6 months for windows. Talked to another guy last week, he's waiting 6 months for windows. So I guess I shouldn't feel too bad.
Yeah,
It's not a,
and there's quite a demand for home improvement products too. It's like everybody stayed at home for 2
Yeah.
years and, you know, like. can we
well,
get it?
everybody's buying and selling. The turnover between that, when somebody buys a new house, you know, very rarely they just move into it without making a few incorporated changes, or it's a good time to throw new paint or new flooring or change your cabinets or whatever if you're in the midst of that transition. So, you know, that's alive and well in that equation too. But I can tell you, all of this isn't a sustainable path moving forward. Something's got to change.
And you better hold on to your shorts when you see the price tag on whatever you order.
That's why I may have to quit wearing shorts.
Man,
Talk about scary things.
Price.
everything's going up in price.
Could own a house in San Diego, median home sales price is $750,000.
You pay dearly for that comfortable 76 in sunshine every day.
And they apparently, talking to people there, one of the big things is there's a huge development of expats who are working in the US in Tijuana. They've cleaned up a huge section of Tijuana and devoted it to residential housing for Americans only. And I know, and they go across the border every day to work because they're paying half for the same kind of lodging, same kind of home, same kind of condo.
Huh. Wow.
You know, tiny condos. Huge. Something close to 750 probably.
The sad thing about all that, it's going to be a threshold at some point in time, and we're going to see a crash.
Reading more and more articles about that lately.
Yeah.
It always comes.
Well, they've been talking about that since the last one, so it's not new, but I don't think pandemic probably didn't help, but they never really fully recovered in the greatest of manners from the last one there in 08 or 09 or whatever.
Well, the thing is, what makes it more likely is you got an uncontrollable inflation right now. You didn't have that in the past.
Correct.
What is it up to now?
I heard 7.9%, but it feels higher than that.
Seems like it's on certain items.
Maybe
Yeah, commodities.
God, grocery. That's the
Groceries are
grocery
high.
Sunday.
I did the same thing. I went, picked up some stuff yesterday. It was a half a bag and it was like $55. It's like, I really didn't even buy any, like, meat or, chicken or anything, because really didn't have a selection to start with. So just like, wow.
I tell you what, the good farm was pork chops, the best pork chops I've ever eaten. Yeah, I wish they'd sell them down here. They had an article on them in the
Yeah.
paper.
Yeah.
Which it was. Copy what they said.
What they
at that
say
meeting,
at the meeting, right, but,
Because he was there.
yeah, they were, I sat next with them at their table, it was
I know,
really
But
interesting.
Wilson, we got it with the article. So
Oh, he was there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was.
It came
What is
from
this,
that.
Wilson?
The good farm.
Yeah, Wilson. It's all, that's lazy key.
Ron Wilson.
Ron Wilson.
Yeah, he was there, yeah. And he's a good writer.
First name.
Oh, he is. Yeah. They used to do a little bit more of some in-person stuff back in 19. They have a few events out there and read some poetry and cowboy
Yeah.
stuff. It's really, really interesting. It's really
Yeah.
fun. Yeah. He did kind of during the pandemic when everything was kind of shut down. He went to once a week or twice a week model, and he was doing that on Facebook Live, and become very, very popular. It was always during the afternoon, so I was working, so I never got a chance to see it or listen to it. That's why Chris did a good job with that out there. Cool things. I'll pay for him this time.
I won the drawing for some food rural conference, and I got like 2 freeze packed or vacuum packed pork chops from the good farm, and they're like this big now.
Nice.
And they're pre-cooked, so I.
Oh, that'd be yummy.
Oh, they were good. They were. Like to be, but they sell them. Yeah.
Oh, I've heard of that.
New York City was all good stuff.
Not all the good stuff.
Don't pay for it.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's probably why they don't sell them.
Yeah, that's why it sells them like this. You get a premium price. You can hear this at the pork shop.
Well, my next nurse just texted me, she got an A on her last test from nursing school, so. Coming this week to her cap's gonna be Christy in the maternity ward, so.
Must get her intelligence from her mom.
Exactly. Close to.
So that's both being married.
The twins are getting married this summer, one in May, one in September, and then this one, the baby of the family, is getting married next June. My son is getting close.
Oh, wow.
You know, this is.
Close enough that he said, don't bring it up, but I don't want to argue with her about it.
A powerful threat. All that's just money you'd waste on food and medicine and,
Retirement.
retirement, so.
That bank account's gonna be pretty empty.
Put your day job.
I was just saying, the sooner I get, actually, I look at it, the sooner I can get rid of them, the sooner it's all theirs, and so.
Yeah, but they come back. They don't go
off the
away.
payroll.
Payroll.
Yeah. Three of them really are anyway. Fourth one's really is pretty much 2 months, but pretty good.
Good for them for doing the nursing.
Yeah, our second. Yes. RN.
It's not a favorable market at this point in time for sure. It's needed. So. Do you have anything to start with?
No, let's just do this.
You ready?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead then and move that the county commission, including Chairman McKinley, Commissioner Foki, and Commissioner Ford, recess into executive session on a performance matter for non-elected personnel to protect the privacy of the employee, an exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act with Clancy Holman. I'm going to say that for a while. County Counselor, Attorney for the Commission, and Elizabeth Ward, Human
That's
Resource
disturbing.
Manager, Park O'Reilly County Clerk. The open meeting to resume in the County Commission chamber at 9:35 a.m.
I'll probably call him Craig here pretty soon. I called Craig Clancy the other day.
Bad for him.
Set that up well.
Motion.
I'd second the motion.
Moved and seconded to go into executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
A mountain, not a hill.
Visualize.
I move that the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session.
I would second that.
Moved and second, Madam Executive Session. All in favor?
Aye.
I also move that the record reflect action shall be taken consistent with consensus reached in executive session.
I would second that.
Moved and second, appropriate actions. All in favor?
Thank you.
Next commissioner, plans enrollment at 9:40.
So next time you want to do that, I'll send my dog with it. He wants to jog and I can't jog.
No, but that's the reason, I've never been out there, because we used to have a dog, so, and you know dogs on that trail at all.
Yeah, that's true.
They're so strict about it, so I've never been out there yet. Yeah, but yes, we could find a different trail. That would
He
be-
tries to follow joggers when I'm walking along and oh, my.
That means he's a good dog.
It's great, you know, wait a minute,
I was like, come on, let's get going. Yeah, that's,
I'm really holding back. You know, it's, I feel bad because I can't run with him.
you know, yeah. I'm gonna try to get my son to get doing some things. He's on the track team, but he's doing field events, and with the throwing, they don't actually ever have to run. So, you know, back in the day, they've got a bunch of kids, so I mean, it's different, but back in the day, you know, everybody had to do like a 1 or 2 mile warm up, right?
Mhm.
But maybe he doesn't have to run it all, so I feel like he should.
If I'm gonna run, everybody in my family's gonna run. I see it.
I like that reasoning.
We'll be hearing from the husband soon.
It worked out. for
She's
my-
making me run. I hate it.
Yeah, that's one pull the resolution up.
Your husband probably has to keep up the running all the time.
Yeah.
Following him.
Yeah, well, that's what I told, because I went with Atlas, Messini, and I said, we're not gonna run together, you just go run your race, whatever, I'm used to it, because my daughter's an NCAA runner, my husband's, you know, pretty good. You know, does PT all the time, pretty good, and I looked at generally, they are finishing and then coming back around to, you know, see where I'm at. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Just gotta compete against myself.
Several, 15 years ago, I said I was going to do a training to do a 5K at Paddle. You know, it didn't do too bad, I thought. It was, you know, by age groups. The ones that finished ahead of me in my age group were a good 60 or 70 pounds lighter than me. So I, you know, they were little guys that,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
but I could, and then about 2 months later, I messed up my knee and right knee. Stair broke.
Oh,
It
that's,
jammed my knee.
I think those 5Ks, those community 5Ks are fun. They're social and, you know,
That
there's always
was-
a bunch of
That was
people.
pretty nice too. It's flat. It starts in that way and it runs out 2.5 and back. So it's just straight out, straight back.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah.
like
You know where you're going.
Easy,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
easy, yeah.
Easy, exactly. Yeah. Relatively speaking.
Well, I'm gonna run with Warren Buffett, and it's at the end of April, 29th, 30th. He's got the shareholder meeting, and they always do an invest in yourself 5K on Sunday morning.
Oh.
So, well, my sister and I are gonna do it, but he doesn't actually run, obviously.
No.
But he does come out, at least the last time we might, he came out and kind of like, I don't know if he shot the gun off or broke the ribbon or something, did something, so.
what did you say? He's not older.
Late.
Older than me.
Yeah, he's not his partner, Charlie's, I think,
His
2
partner's
years
older, man.
Yeah, he's a little bit older.
I think he's like 82 and his partner like 89.
Oh.
I just read an
I
article
almost
last
think his
week.
partner's in his 90s, but but
Maybe.
yeah, but yes, like they're not out there running. And I don't think his partner went to the stockholder meeting last year. I don't think he was able to physically be there. He's really an interesting and intelligent guy. Dry sense of humor, but really interesting.
Roll from Manhattan. It's higher up. And about stuff, you know,
Oh, really?
That's what.
it's higher up and about that. All right, thanks.
Morning, commissioners.
Morning.
Clancy Holman, Riley County Council. I have before you a resolution appointing an interim county appraiser. As you're aware, with the recent passing of Greg McHenry, Riley County appraiser, state statute requires that the county commission appoint an interim county appraiser. And that can be for a period of up to 6 months. The standards are very different. The fact is, state law doesn't require this. The appointee has to be someone approved by, in advance by the Property Valuation Division and the Department of Revenue. That has been done with this candidate. And we just offer this resolution for your approval. And obviously, during the appointment of this interim county appraiser, the process will begin to find a permanent replacement for the Riley County appraiser. If you have questions, I ask that you go ahead and approve the resolution.
Questions?
Okay, go ahead and move that the board approve the resolution for appointing an interim county appraiser.
I would second that.
Been moved and seconded to approve the resolution appointing an interim county appraiser. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All three signs, please.
Thank you. That is all I have.
Do we want to discuss a path forward on that now, or do we want to?
Dan,
Okay. If everybody's okay with that. Okay. Well, we have some time because we don't have to be anywhere till noon.
'91 and '95. Lawrence '91.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
He's the younger.
So we've got 90-year-olds around here running marathons. And,
they're
Marvin.
both young pups. Both young pups.
Marvin just won.
So, yeah, so we've got, we do have 4 candidates for the county appraiser position. How would the commissioners like to proceed? Would you like to interview all 4 of those candidates and do something differently? And if so, what days or times should we shoot for?
we were talking about it earlier because our agendas are kind of not elongated right now, that maybe we can do it at the back end of
Okay.
a Monday or Thursday meeting. Does that work?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to interview all of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I don't know if you wanted to time frame on doing that at this point. I mean, do we want to leave it open for a little bit and see if there's another 1 or 2 or?
Well, that was one of my questions too. If you'd like us to be aggressive, I mean, we have 4 candidates.
Okay.
Would you like us to be continually aggressively recruiting? Or I guess my recommendation would be to go ahead and interview the 4 if you think they're quality candidates, make a decision at that point. And generally what I would say is if you find the one in that first round and you think, yes, this is a great fit, this is our best fit, then just go ahead and make an offer. If you feel like there's some certain things that you're just not sure of, then let's continue to recruit.
And we can't, even if we're setting up the interviews, we can
Oh, yeah,
still,
we don't have to.
it's still open for
Yeah.
applications, right?
That's good.
It will remain open until filled.
Yes,
Right.
that's how we post it.
Yeah. Continue.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep pushing it. So
Two a day, maybe?
Well,
How
yeah,
long are the interviews going to be?
Usually about an hour.
uh-huh.
An hour with a half hour in between is generally how we schedule.
That's what I would recommend, yes, we have some conversation. Some of them may not go the full hour, but sometimes they do.
Wednesday.
Mondays and Thursdays. And is there, I mean, if we have a meeting that goes until noon, is there certain days or times that you would not be available to meet at that point, or?
I have to look at my calendar at this point. I don't even want to say that without even
No, I
checking.
agree
Yeah.
with me too. So if you want to email me days that won't work, I'll look at Mondays and Thursdays and then let me know which days you just.
because we've got, which day we have
Can you send out like a poll? Like a
the
poll?
legislative
Yeah, I can do that.
We have that legislative.
The legislative thing on the seventh, right?
Yeah.
So that doesn't work, right?
Yeah, it's actually during the morning. It's not in the afternoon.
Right, it is in the morning.
And it's a pretty abbreviated one. I don't know that we went with 2 hours. I thought we might have done with an hour.
I think that's what we were planning, wasn't it? Just an
Yeah.
hour.
Yeah,
So that's
Yeah.
what we're-
and earlier.
But it'll be finished. I know it's done before noon.
I just want to
Yeah.
Sure.
overlap. But
And I would think two a day in the evening. I'm afraid if you get one a day, you're really gonna spread it out for a long time.
Yeah, if you could.
You got to see what the candidates' availability is as well. So
Yeah, it's 10:45 to 11:45
Okay.
on the 7th.
so you can just
So we know it all afternoon still.
Well, I've got something scheduled for it on the 7th.
I've got 2 doctor's appointments on that particular day, but they're later in the afternoon, I think.
Yeah.
I think.
It's kind of depends on what our schedule looks like.
Mhm.
I usually don't schedule anything on Monday, Thursday. Unless it's a law board meeting. Or another.
Or a special law board meeting.
Those are usually later in the day.
They are. They are.
I think maybe the best thing to do would be to send out some dates and times and you all can say yay or nay to each one and then. I do think that we don't want to stretch it out too far because you just get too much time between each candidate, but
Yeah.
if we can afford to do, 2 back to back, that's great. I don't want to assume, but I think you probably want a lunch break in between this and the other. I know last time, I think I scheduled you right on top of each other and it was.
Well, I mean,
No, if you can, just allow enough in there and we can bring something in to
Yeah.
make it short,
Yeah,
abbreviated,
so
to speed it
little
up so people don't have to go back and forth. So
Yeah.
we've done that before in
Yeah.
these circumstances.
It's always good to take a little break between.
Yeah. I think a little break's good, but if you're gonna try to run out, we'll probably just a full hour, so, but if you can do it here, then that's good. Okay, all right, I'll try to put some kind of timeline together and get back to you. And just to clarify, if you wanna have the 3 of you, we don't have a retiring person now. If we would have a retiring person in the position, we would include that person. Is that something that you wanted to have the clerk involved in? Is that something you want to have Clancy
He's-
involved in?
they're both always there
Okay,
anyway.
that's-
So
yeah, I mean,
yeah, it's usually the 3 of us,
That'd be
Them
an
two,
executive session,
yourself.
right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
okay, just
And
wanted to make sure.
yeah, usually the outgoing department head, but I
I
don't
know.
think that's going to be applicable here. So we'll
Okay.
just have to go as is.
Okay, sounds good.
That's a good question, though. Do you want the interim?
I would say probably no. Let's not put any more pressure than necessary.
That's what I was trying to say.
Oh, and I don't want to have like a 5-person committee interviewing one person.
And I think that would put him in a very awkward situation with his 2 co-workers.
Right. Yeah, I think that-
There it is.
Sounds good. Okay, we can plan, I can move forward with that and be in touch with you.
Anything else? Anything else?
Remember, we have the intergovernmental luncheon at noon in the hotel.
So I will go ahead and make a motion that we adjourn after this afternoon intergovernmental luncheon.
I would second that.
And moving second to adjourn after the intergovernmental luncheon. All in favor?